Hey everyone, I'm alive. I've said for like a few weeks that I was going to do more Tuesday tea, and I've had connection issues. I've been in Canada. There's been a lot of stuff going on, so I haven't been able to do it. But the connection's working today, and I'm here in the United States again. So yeah, that's my story right now. All right, so before we get into some really fun kind of disastrous sounding wedding stuff, I want to talk about the fact that Game of Thrones, for their worst season, got 32 Emmy nominations today. 32 Emmy nominations. Also, Schitt's Creek got some great nominations, and I really hope that Catherine O'Hara's wigs win some awards because she's awesome. Anyone else watch Schitt's Creek? Am I like the only one who's just deeply in love with all of this? Because I will own it. And I will also peer pressure you into watching it. That's all I'm going to say. So, yeah, that's my fun story. Um, Also, in 2 days, I'm going to be in Austin doing a styled shoot that's Harry Potter themed, and I'm pretty excited because we're going to be doing all jewel tones, and the cake is going to be botany themed, and the mixed drinks are going to be potions themed. It's going to be wild. It's going to be great. So, yeah, those are my fun stories for this week. So, now we're going to get into some wedding stories and pass on advice. And if you have any advice that you want to add into the comments, that'd be great. So the first one, and I might have like made a little bit of like a ooh face when I read it, and I wonder if it's really real, but we're just gonna go along with it because sometimes crazy is real. So this is back when people used to do reception lines. I don't know if people know what that is. That's when the bride and groom are in a specific spot, typically with their parents, and everyone who's invited to the wedding lines up and they give their well wishes to the bride and groom. These days, most people are doing this when the bride and groom comes to your table, and they do it after dinner. But back in the 90s and the 80s, and previous to that, the bride and groom would stand at like the entrance to the reception hall and would greet every single person who was attending. So the story goes, while in the reception line immediately following the wedding, my cousin, Brad, uh, there was a lady in front of us with a 5-year-old child. I think we know where this is going. When she came up to Brad, we could tell that he was noticeably uncomfortable seeing this woman. She looked at Brad and asked, "Do you happen to remember that party 6 years ago that we hooked up at? Well, this is your daughter. See you soon." And then walked away. So I find that kind of interesting on a few levels that she was able to uh, get into the wedding to do this. Like, that's why I'm questioning whether it's real. But if it is real, that's a wild situation, and I would be kind of angry about it. Um, and I wonder if they had a planner. So one of the things that by having a wedding planner at your wedding is they will control who's invited. They know who is in your family, and if they see something going sideways, like I'm assuming that she wasn't dressed up for a wedding, that they'll head it off at the pass before anything like that really goes down. So that's kind of my advice, is to hire a wedding planner for your wedding and try and not have weird drama crap, and maybe not have children out of wedlock. But I mean, that happens to everyone. I mean, not everyone, but happens to a good chunk of people. The next one is a little bit longer. Um, Comes from a woman who was asked to be a maid of honor at her friend's wedding. She was asked to be one of two people who were the maid of honors. So when they met with the bride to go over all of the details and what they would be doing in their role, the bride asked the maid of honors to cover the entire cost for an 80-person bridal shower. And I don't really think that she asked in this. It sounds like that she demanded, which is kind of not cool. I mean, in this situation, uh, I mean, I remember being in weddings and I would contribute money towards showers plus the gift. Like being a part of the wedding party, you do incur more costs than just your dress and stuff like that. And I remember a time when you could do weddings, like be in a wedding, and the bride and groom covered the cost of your gown and shoes and hair and makeup, and that slowly changed when I was growing up and when my sister was getting married and stuff like that, and it pivoted to uh, the bridesmaids covering the cost of a lot of stuff. So in this story, the one of the maids of honor is a professional student and has a ton of loans, and was unable to pay for the 80-person shower at a swanky place. So I think a lot of the times, if a bride is wanting you to be a part of her big wedding day, one of the things is not to demand things. Hey, Brianne. Um, and is to maybe before asking say, these are the things that I see in my head, this is where the costs are going to be covered. I've also heard horror stories of brides asking bridesmaids to pay for like $400 or $500 gowns and all of the alterations on top of that, and having to buy very specific shoes and stuff like that, and it just gets very expensive. So before you're going to ask your people that you love in your life to be a part of your wedding day, I would say have kind of a bit of an idea as to the budget that you want them to spend, and be open about that, and not go into it with full expectations that they will do this and it's your way or the highway kind of situation. Now, that being said, if someone who you want to be in your wedding party is trying to cheap out and do certain things that like not get a dress in the color that you want to, or not buy the dress that you want, and it's completely reasonable and not like $1,000, then yeah, you have reasons to kind of like pull out the card and say, hey, stop it. We're all in this together. So those are the two fun kind of horror stories-ish stuff for weddings, that Tuesday tea. Or for me, Tuesday water, getting my water in. So yeah, if anyone wants to share how they would handle those situations from any side, that'd be awesome. While I'm going through all of these stories, I've seen a lot of drunk wedding stories, and I'm not really going to be focusing on that too much because I like more interesting stories. So yeah, that's my funness. I hope everyone's having a great day, and I will talk to you guys later. If it will end, who knows when it will end.